Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the internet where your cesspool is my jacuzzi. So this is a case that I have covered twice, only two times before, but it's been something that a couple of other streamers that I'm, friendly with or know of have been covering. The reason I'm talking about this case specifically is that I live just a couple hours from where this hearing is supposed to take place. Now, if you don't know me, my name is Neidigh. I'm a psychiatric evaluator. I also work in appeals. So I write appeals if the insurance won't pay the hospital for somebody's medical bills. So I am not a lawyer, not a judge. Just be clear that nothing I say should be taken as legal expertise. And to be frank, don't ever take my words as medical advice. I'm not a doctor. So I've talked a little bit before about my kind of interest in covering this case and why I haven't really talked about it too much. So I'm just going to go over that again really quickly because I want to make this very clear before anyone gets the wrong idea. Now, I know there are some heated conversations about this. And I know, I've watched streams of friends of mine who talk about it a little bit. But to be honest, as far as the federal case goes, I still really have no idea what's going on. Now, this motion for sanctions is involving a state case here in Florida. And so all I have to do is drive a couple hours to the courthouse. They already approved me to record it. So I will be there in person. Now, as I'm going to be there in person, I'll be happy to, talk to anyone before or after the hearing or whatever who's there. I fully intend to kind of go into this with a neutral mindset and that I am acting as the pool camera, just like I did during the Laura Owens case. When I went to Scottsdale in June, I was doing the live stream from my friend Scott's camera. And then anybody who wanted to live stream, the court hearing was able to use my footage. So it'll be kind of the same way. Whereas I don't know if I'm going to be able to live stream it. I'm going to try my best, but I'm not familiar with that courthouse at all whatsoever. And I really am just on my own this time. So if not, then I'll just be recording it and everyone will get the footage after. So anyone who wants that footage, any streamer, any news source or whatever who wants that footage, they could reach out to me and I would give it to them. Even if I didn't want to, I would have to. But honestly, I think it's fair that everyone should be able to have it. So whether or not it's live, I don't know yet. I will let everyone know as soon as I can. But I don't know. So we'll see. I'll just do the best that I can with it. So as I told you guys a little bit earlier, it was maybe in the last few weeks or so, I did get a camera. So it's not like a big fancy camera. I'm saving up for a really nice Panasonic or something, but it's going to take me a while to save that money so that I can go and stream other local kind of court cases that might be interesting. I mean, local to the state of Florida, maybe even to Georgia or wherever I can get a pass to film. Because I feel like that's something I would really like to do. Anyways, I got this camera. It was relatively, it wasn't cheap because for somebody like me, it's a lot of money, but it was $250. And it's pretty decent. I've tested it out a little bit. I was going to try to use it as a face cam as well, but I need to get a little tripod for that. And I also need to get a tripod for the courtroom. So I'll show you what it looks like though, because I haven't shown you guys the whole thing, I don't think. Anyways, here it is. And I was thinking, it was going to be one of my old camcorders because when I was growing up, that was kind of still a new novel thing to have a camcorder, and I was this is the greatest thing ever. And then of course now we all have iPhones and shit like that, so it's everybody's filming everything. But it's pretty, I mean, you can't really see me because of the glare, but it works decently well, I think. And if I film the other side of the room, then it comes out very clearly, so it should be fine. I also have some lavalier mics, and they said that I would be able to put those on the podium or the stand or wherever people are speaking from. So that will help. So it should be a little bit simpler than the Clayton hearing, just in that I have actual stuff that I know how to use and can practice using ahead of time. Whoop, one sec. I have actual stuff that I know how to. Shh, quiet, Lauren. Sorry, my phone was on my stream, so okay. Anyways, hi everybody. Thank you for joining. I'm just looking at your chats, but Goosemump was just telling me that Tug would be starting his show, so it might be I mean, I don't blame anybody for watching that instead. I totally don't. It's just that this was the only time I could do this tonight. Usually I try to avoid streaming when my friends or other people are streaming because I'm I really would like to watch. But it is hard just with my work schedule and all that. So here I am. And if you guys were with us last night, I did end up finishing the entire Justin Baldoni lawsuit document. It took 6.5 hours. My friends Snitchel Ninja and Omar joined me. Omar was convinced that I was not going to make it to the end in one stream, but I did. So, my village idiot. Can you tell a nonsensical joke? Had to put fur baby down today and my heart needs a smile. I'm so sorry. I don't really have like a joke off the top of my head. I'm the type of person who's just like really like on the spot. I'll just think of something like sarcastic. But something that always made me laugh, and some people are going to think this is just like pervy, like, what are you doing? Someone came up to me once and it was like, hey, there's something on your butt. And I'm like, it was just a friend of mine. So I was like turning around trying to figure out what was on my pants. And I was like, what are you talking about? She's like, my eye. Nah. I thought that was funny. Maybe it's not to you, but that stuck with me. Not on my butt, just stuck in my brain. So I don't know. It made me laugh. But I am very sorry about your pet. That sucks. So, okay. So we're gonna go over the motion for sanctions tonight. And like I was trying to say, like I'm remaining kind of neutral with this. I don't know a lot about the federal case at all. So what I decided to do was I'm only going to read the stuff relating to the state case until after the hearing in a couple of weeks. So that being said, I'm going to read the actual document, the motion for sanctions. And then as I'm sure some of you know, if you've been following this case, I have had a lawyer from the other side email me. And he did send me some, thoughts from their side. And I'm going to share those as well. Here's what I think about, like, as far as like all the coverage goes. I personally do not know enough about the background of all of this to make a judgment. So what I want to do is like make sure I'm not going to call anyone names. I'm not going to disparage anybody. I'm not going to try to like be rude to anybody. Like I'm just going to try to be respectful and objective here in like reading these documents, because I genuinely do not know enough to make a value judgment on either side. I mean, I've heard bits and pieces here and there. I was even on Shizzy Wisnut's stream reading one of the depositions with him once, but I didn't even know what I was reading. I just came in the middle of the stream because I happened to be free, and I was like, okay, tell me what you want me to read. So, all right. So yeah, as far as anybody goes, any streamer, any lawyer, whatever, I'm not gonna shit talk anybody right now, especially because I have friends like talking about the case. So like, say one of them has like told me something about the other. I'm just not getting involved in that right now. Because and it's honestly just frankly better for my mental health if I just stay objective to like, here's what this person said. Here's what this filing said. I'm not going to make my judgments right now. I'm just going to go into this hearing knowing the facts of what's been presented to me, and then we'll see what happens. So, and then after all that's done, after all the hearing stuff is done, then I'll start to look at the federal case. I also just have a lot of other stuff I want to cover right now. So plus I can listen to Megan and Tug and Shizzy and whoever else talk about this if I really, needed a crash course. So, all right, we'll start with the motion. And then after that, I'll get to what was sent to me from the other side. So give me 1 second. I need to pull this up. Yeah, it's ugly over there, Lauren. Yeah, and see, that's just not me. Even with Laura Owens in the case that I've been largely covering, the case that I went to Scottsdale to cover, until she and her lawyer started attacking me and other people, like I was very nice, very objective, very much like not interested in calling anyone names or anything like that. So, I'll try very, very hard to just not get involved in like any sort of mudslinging or anything like that without having to avoid the situation entirely. So I think people will just have to trust that I'm going to do what's best for me. And then if I decide at one point that I don't want to talk about it anymore because it's just not good for me, then I won't. So, we'll be all right. Okay. All right. Hopefully that's big enough for you guys to read. I think it should be. Denise Sell says, Lauren, the one thing I would love to get your opinion on is Lynette's deposition. I don't think I've seen that. Also, guys, if you want me to see something, some stuff has been sent to me already. Megan sent me some stuff and someone else sent me some stuff. I don't want to like throw anyone under the bus. That's why I'm being kind of vague with the names. But I know the other person who sent me stuff is like, it's they said it's fine that people know I emailed you or whatever. So yeah, but still, you know me, I'm very cautious and I just want to be sure beforehand. So I'm just being kind of vague right now. But if you want me to review a document and you have it, send it to this email address. And then, like I said, after the state hearing is over, I put the email in the chat, by the way. After the state case is over, I'll take a look at all that and just check it out and see what happens. So, all right. So this is a motion for sanctions pursuant to Florida Statute 57105. Sorry, I'm not used to reading by myself now, guys, so I forgot I don't have to have these on, which helps a lot because having those giant things in my head makes my hair sweat. But now it's weird because I can really hear myself. All right. Motion for sanctions pursuant to Florida Statute 57.105. Defendant Jeremy Hales, by and through undersigned counsel, and pursuant to Section 57.105. I can't believe I just said .105. I'm sorry, guys. I read things like, if I'm reading something long, I have to focus really quickly, and then sometimes I say something weird. All right. Florida statutes hereby moves the court to impose sanctions against Michelle Preston, and Preston's counsel jointly and severely. I've never seen that before, but that's because I'm not used to reading legal briefs, to be honest. So, based on the following, if anyone can tell me what that means in this context, please let me know. Okay. Number 1, Preston filed a complaint which alleges a violation of Florida Statute 540.08 for the unauthorized use of plaintiff's name and likeness and of his YouTube channel by publishing Miss Preston's picture on video thumbnails without her consent, and by publishing and using her name and image in videos without her consent. 2, Preston then alleges that, as a result of Hale's publication and the use of Miss Preston's picture and name without her consent, Miss Preston has sustained loss and injury. A copy of the complaint being attached hereto as Exhibit 1. And I did go over that complaint at one point, like a month or so ago. Since it's attached to this, we'll go over it like really briefly at the end. But under Florida law, the allegations and claims made in the complaint are utterly frivolous and without merit. Accordingly, the complaint is frivolous and completely without merit under Florida law, and thus Preston and her legal counsel should be sanctioned pursuant to 57.105.1 Florida statutes, because Preston and her counsel knew or should know that the frivolous claims asserted and alleged in the complaint are 1, not supported by the material facts necessary to establish such claims, or 2, not supported by an application of then existing law to those material facts, as the pending abuse of process claims is absolutely barred by Florida's litigation privilege. And some of this legal stuff, like the footnotes and all that, I'm probably going to just skip over that. Because, like I said, I'm not a lawyer. I'm not the one to really explain that to you guys. Okay. Number 5, Florida Statute 57.105 authorizes courts to award sanctions against parties who raise claims and defenses not supported by the material facts necessary to establish the claim or defense, or would not be supported by the application of then existing law to those material facts. The Florida Supreme Court has made crystal clear the proper application of Section 57.105 Florida statutes. Okay. As the district court noted in this case, statute no longer applies to only an entire action and now applies to any claim or defense. Okay. The standard for granting fees also has changed. Previously, a movement had to show a complete absence of a justiciable. Is it justifiable? Justiciable? I've never seen it spelled like that. I don't know if is that right. Maybe it is. Like when it comes to like law stuff, I'm like learning a new language sometimes. So, issue of either law or fact raised by the losing party. Under the revised version, however, a movement need only show that the party and counsel knew or should have known that any claim or defense asserted was not supported by the facts or not supported by an application of then existing law. The amendments therefore greatly expanded the statute's potential use. Okay. In Albritton v. Ferreira, the first district stated that the word shall, as used in Section 57.105, expressly shows the legislature's intent to impose a mandatory penalty in the form of reasonable attorney's fees to discourage baseless claims by placing a price tag on losing parties who engage in such frivolous activities. See also Couch v. Drew. Okay. Like I said, I'm going to skip over some of the really specific legal stuff here. In determining whether a party is entitled to statutory attorney's fees under Florida Statute 57105, frivolousness is determined when the claim or defense was initially filed. If the claim or defense is not initially frivolous, the court must then determine whether the claim or defense became frivolous after the suit was filed. In so doing, the court determines if a party or its counsel knew or should have known that the claim or defense asserted was not supported by the facts or an application of existing law. Indeed, Florida Statute 57105(1) merely requires a trial court's determination that the offending party either knew or should have known that the claim being challenged was not supported by material facts or would not be supported by the application of then existing law to those material facts. Okay. A claim is not supported by the material facts within the meaning of the statute authorizing an award of attorney's fees as a sanction for raising unsupported claims or defenses when the movement has admissible evidence sufficient to establish the material facts as being undisputed and in the moving party's favor. Therefore, as was his legal right, Jeremy Hales served but did not yet file a motion for sanctions pursuant to Section 57105 Florida statutes. Preston and her counsel had 21 days to take corrective actions and to withdraw the unsupported complaint. Unfortunately, Preston and her counsel failed to take advantage of the 21-day safe harbor afforded, and they pursued the action without pause. Accordingly, Jeremy Hales moves for sanctions against Preston and her counsel pursuant to Section 57105 Florida statutes. Now, I had some people point out that like the safe harbor thing was also a big point in the Laura Owens case. The appeal on that is ongoing. So they're now in the middle of writing their brief, I guess, in response to. So the initial appeal was filed. Clayton's side did their response, and then now Laura's side responds again. So, but a lot of that's based on the safe harbor stuff. So. Footnotes are actually pretty important sometimes. Yeah, they are. They are. But for the purpose of what I'm doing, like I said, I'm just going to be in there holding the freaking camera. So, like, I don't need to understand every single, case involved. I just want to see what this person's saying versus what this person's saying. So if I understand the substance of the point these people are trying to make, I personally, I'm not going to try to understand every single case they cite or law they cite or anything like that. As long as I understand the point they're trying to make. That's kind of the best I can do, just being that I'm not in the legal profession. So yeah, I just do my best. All right. If I want to, get into the law stuff, I'll go listen to people who have been covering this stuff forever, or like Omar or someone else who really knows legal stuff. So I'm more of a lay person, and I'm okay with that. So, all right. Let's see. We did that. Got there. Okay. Wherefore, Jeremy Hales respectfully requests that the Honorable Court enter an order granting this motion, ruling that Preston and or her counsel knew or should have known that the claims asserted against Jeremy Hales herein are baseless and without merit under Florida law, and thus untenable and patently frivolous, imposing sanctions against Preston and or her counsel, jointly and severally, pursuant to Florida Statute 57105, and any other relief the court deems just and proper. All right, and here's the certificate of service. So this was the exhibit, which was just the initial complaint, which was basically saying, they use pictures of Miss Preston, I believe, on the content or the thumbnails for their YouTube videos. Here's what the main point that I was reading when I read this complaint was videos on What the Hales with thumbnails not containing the image of Miss Preston typically have 30 or 40,000 fewer views than those with her image, which typically get more than 100,000 views. Now I don't really, it's not because I, don't like anybody. It's just because I generally just haven't heard of a lot of this stuff before. So I don't know what the Hales channel kind of pulls in terms of viewers and stuff like that usually. Just because I've only been doing YouTube for a year. I've obviously been following some really niche stuff. So, I've never heard of this before. So I don't know how that's going to go. Well, I guess they dismissed it or voluntarily dismissed it, but I'm also going to read to you guys, now that we've read the motion of sanctions, what I got from the other side about the motion for sanctions pursuant to the thumbnails lawsuit. So give me 1 second first. I think DUI guy had posted some tweets I wanted to show really quickly. Yeah, there it is. Okay. Let me just find it real quick. Okay. So this was Larry's Twitter, and this was 2 days ago, because there was some question of whether or not there was going to be a hearing, because I had gotten an email from the court that said, oh, I should follow that. I got an email from the court that said the hearing was canceled. And then I saw and heard this stuff about the motion for sanctions, and I was like, so I had to email the court back, and I was like, is this actually happening? Like, was this rescheduled? Is there actually another hearing now? And there is. So, I just got confused as well, because the actual media contact from the court had told me it was nixed. But this works. So, so I can't believe they dragged Larry into this. Yeah. So the thing is, I don't know how all that happened. I just mean, I'm paying attention. Let's put it this way. I'm paying attention to what everyone's saying, but I don't know enough about the background to know who's right and who's wrong about everything. So the best I can do is really read what everyone from one side and what everyone from the other side has to say, and then kind of watch how this plays out and then see what I think about it at that point. Okay. I'm not going to share the screen for this next part because I don't want to share everything. Let me see. But this was, I'm pretty sure it's okay for me to tell you, and I'm pretty sure most people put this together already, that Bruce had emailed me. And he emailed me some of this stuff that I want to read, just because I feel like I tried to explain earlier, I'm going to read everything from either side and then kind of form my own judgments from there. And as far as my coverage goes, I do want to make sure that I'm trying as hard as I can to stay neutral. So I'll read this, say, this is what this person said, and I'll read the other side, this is what these people said. It's all relating to this thumbnail case. So anything that's related to personal grievances between the two sides, anything that's related to we don't like this person because of XYZ, I'm not getting into that. That's not my thing. I'm the type of person who's going to be here to listen, but I'm not necessarily going to insert myself into that. So, I will read to you what was said to me. And it's not everything, but I'm going to read to you what was said to me specifically about this. And then I will read the rest of some of that email another time when I've had more time to think about it and really look at it and figure out how to present it in a way that is not I totally think these people are assholes. You know what I mean? Because I don't want to offend anybody, honestly. I'm not trying to. I might by accident, but I'm not trying to. You know what I mean? So, okay. Let's see. Watch out for lawsuits, girl. I've gotten that warning. And to be honest, I've already had a lawyer threaten me with lawsuits, and I kind of came to terms with it. And I've also kind of come to terms with the fact that if I want to keep doing stuff like this, I have to accept that there are going to be people who make threats. Right now, nobody has threatened me in regards to this at all, so I'm okay. Let's see. So this is all regarding the thumbnails lawsuit. Let's go. The thumbnails lawsuit was voluntarily withdrawn without prejudice, meaning the claims can be refiled. There's been no adjudication on the merits. This is allowed under Florida Rule 1.420 anytime prior to a hearing on a motion for summary judgment. Hales/Shockett, and if I'm saying that name wrong, guys, let me know, can pursue their motions for sanctions under Florida Statute 57105, equivalent to Federal Rule 11, because it was served while the case was active and we didn't withdraw it within the 21-day safe harbor period. Thereafter, Shockett prepared and filed a motion for summary judgment, which was scheduled for hearing on February 5th. The lawsuit was withdrawn, so now their sanctions motion is scheduled for the same date/time when the summary judgment would have been argued on February 5th. Their motion necessarily asks the court, without any discovery having been conducted, without any motions having been argued or decided, without any evidence having been introduced at a trial, and with no decision by any fact finder on issues of fact or by any judge on any issues of law, to skip all of that and pretend it all occurred and we lost on the merits. So then the court can proceed to determine that the lawsuit was frivolous ab initio at the time it was filed, all in a 1-hour hearing on a motion argument. Losing a case does not mean it was frivolous. Frivolous means no good faith argument for the application, extension, or reversal of existing law. We had good faith arguments for the application of Florida Statute 540.08 to Hales' unconsented use of Preston's image on thumbnails to promote his videos in which she involuntarily appears and is mocked, humiliated, defamed, and terrorized. Also, we could have amended to add other claims, such as common law invasion of privacy, and we could have done so specifically in response to their motion for summary judgment if we thought the 540.08 claims may be dismissed. Their motion for sanctions pertains only to the complaint as it was when it was voluntarily dismissed with the 540.08 claim, and pretends we couldn't have amended to add counts based on the same facts, even if the statutory claim wouldn't have succeeded. Now think about it. Let's say they convinced Judge William Davis, and he found the voluntarily dismissed without prejudice to refile lawsuit was frivolous, awarding them sanctions from us. And let's say the thumbnails claim is then refiled versus Hales, and Foreman for that matter, either in state court or federal court. They'd be arguing to that court that the claim is frivolous as found by Davis, but that would be completely inadmissible, and we'd still get to pursue the claims, as well as other theories based on the same facts, i.e. invasion of privacy. When we refile, there will never have been actual litigation on the merits of the claim whatsoever, just a post-voluntary dismissal motion for the sanctions. Judge Davis isn't going to create such an untenable scenario. So that's all I'm going to read of that email for tonight, guys. Just because I'm very careful about like what I share, and a lot has been shared with me that I haven't read, like via email and stuff like that. So just what I'm comfortable with pertaining to this case is all I'm going to share tonight. So yeah, it's complicated to me. Let's say it's complicated to me because I don't understand the law the way that lawyers do. So like Larry, the DUI guy, sorry, he's a lawyer. So say he were to explain, like why that doesn't make sense in a way that, I couldn't. So all I can really do is listen and then see how it goes. But yeah, as far as thumbnails and stuff like that go, you guys know that I've had somebody kind of point at me about thumbnails before. So that's why I was interested in the thumbnail case. But I don't know, because it kind of has implications for what a lot of us do. But, so I don't know how that's going to go, but I know I will be there. And I know I'm going to figure out what I think after I feel like I'm comfortably informed. I don't want to make any kind of judgment on any kind of legal scenario until I feel like I've really taken the time to understand it. And I've just, with everything that's been going on in my life right now, I just have not done that. So, but yeah. So I'll just be there to point the camera and press the button, I guess. So yeah. Sounds just like LO case just in Florida. With the thumbnails, yeah. I guess she never technically took any of us to court for the thumbnails, but yeah. Wait. This is gonna be like LO and Omar. Oh no. No, it's not. I mean, it kind of is though. K-Matt said, did you read the beginning case information? Which case? The thumbnail case? If it's revolving around the thumbnail case, then I've read the actual thumbnail lawsuit and all that. What I've not done is kind of like really get to know any of the federal case because I simply like don't have the time right now or the energy or the mental space for it. So I'm waiting until after the thumbnail hearing. Well, I'll go film it. I'll listen to it. I'll see what happens. And then from there, I'll kind of decide what I want to do moving forward. If it gets to a point where I'm just like, yeah, this is messy. I don't really want to get involved in, people kind of fighting back and forth. And at that point, I will just tell the truth and be like, hey, listen, I can't handle this. And I'll move on to something else. But, like I said, right now, I'm pretty much just here to press the button. In the court. So, and I'm going to try to go down there and see if I can actually look in the courtroom and see what kind of setup I might have. Because like I said, it's not very far from me and it's not very far from Gainesville where I visit a lot. I started college there and I have a couple friends who still live out there and I go for games a lot. So, it's not that far of a drive and it's like, I like to go down there anyway. So I'll probably go check that out if I can on a weekday and whatever. I got to email the lady from the court and see if I'm allowed to do that. This would only be the second time I've ever recorded a court hearing in person, so we'll see. Let's see. Winks. Bruce really had no right to reach out to Lauren when he's not involved in the thumbnail case. I don't know. I don't know. Like I said, I'm just here to listen. If somebody sends me something, I'll read it. If I felt like I was being, threatened or anything like that, I wouldn't respond. But I'm good. We're good right now. So, and yeah, no, Bruce is not the lawyer on the thumbnail case. That's true. That's true. Well, thank you everybody for listening to me ramble for 30 minutes. Because last night's stream was so long, I knew this was going to be a short one. And then also, I have the Rachel, Lindsay, Brian Abasola divorce documents that I was going to go over this afternoon. But since I was up till almost 2 a.m. streaming Justin's filing last night, I'm doing that on Monday. So tomorrow I have a 12-hour shift at the hospital. So after I end this stream, I'm going to record something and schedule it to go tomorrow. I'm not going to say what it is, but you guys will find out soon. So thanks everybody for watching. I appreciate you. I appreciate your time. And we'll talk some more soon. If you're watching this on replay and you have anything that you want to say in the comments that you think I should know or you think that I missed, please let me know. Because like I said, I do want to know this stuff. I want to learn up on this stuff, but I just, at this point in time, I don't have all the information. So, all right, everybody have a good night and I will see you on Monday. Bye.